wrestling matches are advertisements for more of the same. That's all they are. They're advertisements for more of the same thing. So you want that advertisement to be as effective as it can be, where every component in it is enhanced as much as you can enhance it. If you're going to beat guys, you want to beat them in a way that doesn't kill them, because then they're devalued. And if you're going to get beat, you certainly don't want to, lose your heat and be devalued yourself, because you'll find yourself out of a job if that keeps up. So having had the good fortune to learn that by that time, I would always have, scenarios lined up that everybody came out looking as good as possible. There were many times that Bobby and I got beat. One of us penned right in the middle of the mat and left the ring with much more heat than we had when we got there. And that was hard to do, but we had a way of doing it. And psychology, of course, those guys we were working with, guys the teams we worked against. I mean, working against Jack and Jerry Brisco. We had Jack and Jerry Brisco and Bobby and I had a match in Sarasota one time. I would give anything if that match had been taped. I mean, I'd take 10 grand. I don't have 10 grand. I'd borrow 10 grand to pay for it. Because in retrospect it had been taped. Coach John Heath had been a wrestling coach, and he was brought to Sarasota. We had a match that was a working shoot. We did a lot of amateur stuff, duck unders and single legs and go behinds, and we just had fun with it, and it was, nobody was trying to predominate. We weren't trying to build up a score of like the heel team 19, the Brisco team minus 12. We were trying to keep it close and even. But Jerry and I reminisced at the Waterloo Hall of Fame celebration last year about that match, how much fun it was, and we did it kind of as a tribute to Coach Heath, because we knew he was watching, and he'd been an amateur wrestling coach, so it was sort of as a tribute to him. But gosh, I wish we'd had that on tape, because there was if anybody that watched it, I know we got the most skeptical pro wrestling critic when we looked at that match. I said, maybe it's not all rigged or set up or whatever. And we had a lot of fun with it. But like I say, those matches, the ability to do that, I mean, we could tag in and out. It didn't matter who was in the ring. Everybody in there had amateur wrestling background. So we could all do amateur moves and counters. And I mean, I think there might have been even 3 or 4, in case my buddy Brett Roberts is listening to this or hears it later, there might have even been 3 or 4 sit-ups during the match, which is an amateur hold that I never, ever saw used in pro wrestling, because it just wasn't done. Anyway, that's an affectionate memory of a time where that kind of match was rare. But Bobby and I, again, he was a genius in the ring. He had I don't want to say a speech impediment, but he stuttered at times under pressure. So he was more than willing to let. And I had a big mouth. I don't know if you or any people listening or going to be listening to this might not have already discovered by now. I have a big mouth and was willing to do the interviews for us. And Bobby could just say a few short words. That way he didn't feel the pressure, and that way whatever he did say, he wasn't under pressure to say do a 2-minute interview. You had 2 minutes, and if you didn't want to get out there, there were wrestlers. I'm not naming names. There were wrestlers that went out there and they said, and every other the beginning of every sentence was, they were just trying to fill time. Well, you're on television. You got a promo you're making. You got 2 minutes. Use it, every second of it, to the maximum advantage to get fans to come to see to react to whatever your message you're trying to get across. So we also discussed interviews. We discussed the TV matches critically, what we could do to get the maximum heat. If we were working with a couple guys that were journeymen, all due respect, I hate the word jabroni. There are no such things. Everybody in pro wrestling, everybody, the ring crew, everybody, the guy that opens the building, that doesn't even work for the wrestling company, but the guy that opens the wrestling building, if he doesn't open the doors, you can't have a show. So everybody's critical. Everybody's part of the promotion. And so I don't consider any aspect of a pro wrestling promotion to be inferior to the other. They're all critical. At the end of my career, I ran my own little wrestling promotion. I was staying home being Mr. Mom to my kids. I was creating my own ring. I had one guy helping me in setting up my own ring, which is where most guys started. Now, I was at the end of a career that's gone on to be Hall of Fame worthy. I think mainly because I'd stay alive long enough. They ran out of candidates, of live candidates, but I was putting up ranks and doing things that most guys do at the start of their career. I started out by having an amateur background of being an Olympian and a national and All-American and all that sort of thing. Well, I didn't have to put in my 2 or 3 years of being learning my way up. You can't put a brand new guy in the main event unless it's a really special situation. Like I had Lex Luger and I needed somebody and he looked the part. He couldn't work a lick, but I put him in main events. But I had him surrounded with talent. I had him with Barry Windham and with Barry and our tag team matches, but I had him with skilled opponents like Barry Windham, and Lex was the heel, but Barry would lead the match. Or in a tag match against Kendo Nagasaki and I want to say Ray Candy, but his